Hello farmers, it's Rich Otley from Petal Orchard, and today we're going to take a tour of the Mini Petal Orchard in the beginning of spring. We're going to take a tour today of the Mini Petal Orchard to let you know what we're growing here. We call it mini because this is our test plot. It's actually in my backyard. I've planted over 42 fruit trees and a ton of different fruiting plants and bushes to test different strategies of growing and different varieties to ensure that we can do this on a large scale. So we're about the second or third day into springtime. It's a beautiful morning, and we're going to walk through each one of these different training systems and talk a little bit about the trees themselves and how we're going about growing. So first of all, what you'll see kind of moving down this initial pathway, this is our first level of training systems. It's all about creating a freestanding fruiting wall. And so there's no training support other than for smaller trees or when they first started out. And we are growing a lot of different, a nectarine tree, cherry tree, apple tree, peach tree, and so forth. Cherry, apple, peach, cherry, apple, some form of peach, right? And lastly, cherry. You'll notice that the trees are planted pretty close together. Because they're larger, they're actually further apart than we'll see later in other areas of the mini orchard. So everything's budded up. We're almost at that green stage as we look at this cherry tree. It's got buds all throughout, and we're super excited at harvesting these plants because they're doing really, really well. Transitioning over to the second major type of training system that we were trialing here in the Mini Petal Orchard, and that is looking at a V-trellis or Tatura-based trellis. And so this system ultimately has plants planted a lot closer. The trees are within maybe 1.5 to 2 feet from each other, and they are leaning to each side and held up with trellises. This trellis is about 8.5 feet, and we wanted to keep these under 10, and so some of which you can see are going upwards of 14 feet, and those will be pruned back as soon as we harvest those beautiful cherries that are at the very top. Here in July, we'll cut those back. So this has been a fun system to manage. It's been very productive, but the best part of this system, as we look here at this cherry tree, is we can harvest the majority of the fruit right from the ground. So we're not having to use ladders. All the fruit's within, right against the wire, and we're getting very high production across the entire tree set. My favorite training system within this type of leaning wires type system is the UFO training system, and that's the system we see here that is focused on ultimately turning the plant sideways and then growing up in these fruiting offshoots. UFO is what this is called. It stands for upright fruiting offshoot. The third and final training system is a fruiting wall type system. So very two-dimensional. We try to keep everything against the wires, and you can see that we have the training wires in place all the way up and down the system itself. And so this one's been also a fun system. It gets very good light. And this most likely will be the system that we incorporate when we go to the commercial scale. So within the system, we're able to keep everything compact. So even this large peach tree, we're able to just shoot the different branches up in these different areas and keep them compact within this wall. So we can harvest, we can spray, we can incorporate any type of work on the tree from one side or the other. We are limited a little bit with this fence here, but if you can imagine in a real system, you wouldn't have the fence, and we're able to manage that. It also really is beautiful in the summer. Once we'll show you through the season how this will grow out and the look that it makes in the backyard. People love that this is full of fruit, it's full of leaves, and it's completely green all year long. We'll just quickly walk down so we can take a glance of all the different trees. There's a pear tree in there, apple trees. You can see that we pulled the wires down, and we've been trying different type of smaller pruning systems to keep them all within tight. And the more we prune, the more we're realizing that the tighter that we can keep to the upright tree, the better it will be to produce the most fruit, get the most light, and the best production. So that's the end of the quick tour. We'll keep you updated as things mature. In a few weeks, we'll see everything explode here with beautiful blossoms, and we'll carry you all the way through fruit growth and fruit harvest here at the Petal Orchard.